Greetings all you determined scientists out there. It's Mr Uys, aka Dr. Uyster, where it's naturally all about science. Thank you for joining, and remember, Darwin and Einstein has nothing on you. In our exploration through ecosystems, we're going to pause today on interdependency called symbiosis. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and watch our previous video. Buckle up and start exploring. Interdependency, where organisms depend on each other to stay alive in an ecosystem. Today's example of interdependency is what we're going to look at is called symbiosis. And as you can see on your screen, symbiosis is the relationship or interaction between specifically two organisms in an ecosystem. There are three types of symbiosis, forms of symbiosis that we get in an ecosystem. The first one is a good all-rounder, and it's called mutualism. Right, mutualism is where both parties benefit in this relationship or interaction, like any healthy relationship should. The first example there is the clownfish and an anemone. The clownfish hides in the anemone and uses it as a home. It is protected because an anemone is actually poisonous to other fish. The clownfish in turn provides nutrients for its feces and protect the anemone against predators. The next example of mutualism next to it is the famous bee and flower. The bee gets pollen, which is used to make honey for, and in the return it helps the flower to pollinate. The last example there is the crocodile and the bird, where the bird hovers around the crocodile to clean its teeth and in return get nutrients, and at the same time the crocodile has its own personal dentist. It keeps his teeth from decay. So we're going to move on to the next example of symbiosis, and that is called commensalism. And this is where one party benefits from the relationship where the other party doesn't get affected at all. So the first example is an orchid growing on a tree, but note this orchid roots is only there to anchor it on the tree, to give it high above the ground. So the tree does not provide the orchid with nutrients. It is only there to lift it up from the ground. So the orchid is protected because it's not in harm's way for predators to eat, and the tree is just leaving it alone. The next example is a buck. You'll see in between the buck's horns there's a spider's web. The buck is oblivious against its crown. At the same time, it protects the spider from any other predators damaging its web, and it has the benefit of it's a drive-through. It's mobile. Next to it we have the shark and the fish that sucks onto the shark's body. Again, it's not a parasite. It doesn't pull anything or do anything to the shark apart from just tagging along. As you can imagine, the sharks aren't very cleanly eaters, so they are literally there for little scraps of fish or whatever the shark ate to scavenge on. Our last form of symbiosis is a dark and dirty relationship. It's called parasitism, and this is where one organism benefits to the detriment, that means by harming the other organism in an ecosystem. Right, our most dreaded first example is the mosquito. Right, the mosquito sucks your blood in return to lay its eggs in and reproduce and get nutrients, of which we are just left with an itchy bump and sometimes even a disease called malaria. So we don't have any benefit from the mosquito digging its teeth into us. Secondly is two examples are called, it's a plant called dodder, and dodder grows and it wraps itself tightly around the stem or leaves of another plant, not sucking nutrients from it but restricting the growth to such a degree that they can just get on top like a canopy. It's like a hat, so that they can first get to the sunlight to maximize photosynthesis. So they use the plant structure. The detriment to the plant is that it overshadows its own leaves, so the plant sporadically starts dying because it can't photosynthesize enough to stay alive. The last example there is the last box we're going to tick. Get it? It's a tick, and it's A parasite because it sucks blood from animals or even humans to feed itself from on the blood, but in the end it brings infectious diseases and extreme discomfort to the other organism. And that is symbiosis. Please keep watching.